you. If you're finding yourself having less sex these days, why? Leave us a voicemail, 855-236-1A1A. Now look, I know this is a really personal question, so if you'd rather not give us your full name...
Businesses have been destroyed by wildfires in California. The road to recovery can be long, but survivors of past fires have advice for pulling through.
You will have time. You'll have time to figure out the insurance. You'll have time to figure out whether you're going to rebuild. You'll get through this.
That and the latest news next week. Century. It was the shopping disruptor of its day. It brought commerce to the doorsteps of families living on farms and in remote communities, paving the way for the mail order boom of the 20th century, and in a way, the online shopping we know today. Sears is even credited with the idea of the department store parking lot.
The tradition at that point was street parking.
Vicki Howard wrote a book on the rise of the American department store called From Main Street to Mall.
It's the story of Queen, and especially of its lead singer, Freddie Mercury.
How many more Galileos do you want?
Mercury had an experimental vision that didn't fit the rock paradigm.
ISIS efforts a campaign of violence associated with war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. ISIS dominated towns and cities in northern Iraq until they were forced back by Iraqi-led forces supported by the United States. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrials are up 90 points at 25,546. The Nasdaq is up more than 16. This is NPR.
With Michigan Radio News, I'm Mike Perini. Polls are open until 8 this evening across...
Beautiful ceremony. It was amazing all the way around. How do you reflect on being part of that?
You know, it was really a wonderful opportunity in a variety of ways.
interest in science, and I'm hoping that that will change.
But for you personally, it hasn't made much of a difference?
Not really.
I want to ask you just about your personal story a little bit. You have overcome a lot in your life. You're a breast cancer survivor. You lost your first husband to cancer. Another partner of yours died by suicide, your son William. died in an accident in 2016. Of course, our condolences to you.
The current oil and gas operations, those wouldn't be affected at all.
Right. Michael, let me stick with you for just 1 second. You've been covering the governor's race too.
For an election, which seems perhaps not a coincidence.
Indeed. In fact, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis was asked yesterday if this was just a stunt, and this was his answer.
He said the support comes from, we don't do stunts in this department, I believe was his answer.
Indeed. But the Pentagon does do shows of force in Operation Faithful Patriot.
This is NPR News.
Multi-instrumentalist, vocalist, and protege of Ray Charles, Tower of Power's Ellis Hall joins the Toledo Symphony for a soulful evening.
I'm hoping that somebody will help me cover the gap because I have nothing. We've lost everything.
The fire continues to burn and is now 70% contained. It's burned more than 150,000 acres since it began November 8th. A federal judge in California has blocked, for now, President Trump's effort to ban people who cross the southern border illegally from seeking asylum. NPR's Giles Snyder reports on the temporary restraining order issued last night.
The federal judge in San Francisco issued the temporary restraining order after hearing arguments in the lawsuit.
Centers for Disease Control that came out last month, is that right?
Yes, I think they update every month, and it's an estimate. I think we're now saying that there were about 73,000 drug overdoses deaths last year, and the vast majority of those would be from opioids, the mix of either prescription drugs, heroin, or fentanyl.
Is that up? Is that down? Are we leveling off?
It's slightly down. Fentanyl's up. The prescription drugs are slightly down.
And remind us exactly what fentanyl. I wonder if we could go back to that tweet from Kokomo Kid who wrote, "This robotic mission to Mars and those before provide great scientific information. What though would be the point of sending humans to Mars? It would be expensive, risky to life, and we wouldn't learn anything we can't learn from unmanned missions." Nadia, what do you make of that?
I don't know if I agree with that last statement at all. First of all, I would prefer to call it crewed. I think we need to stop referring to missions as manned, call them personed or crewed or human or something, which is a little bit more inclusive. But I don't necessarily agree that we would
not learn anything new by sending humans to a different world. I mean, look at what we accomplished during the Apollo program with the astronauts on the moon. They were able to do experiments much more easily than we could have done with a robotic lander, and I'm sure the same is true on Mars.
To get it over early. At the other extreme was Kylie Cyber, who spent all night shopping.
JCPenney's, Walmart, Target, Dick's, everywhere.
Cyber says she saved $200 at one store alone.
Dick's, everywhere. Dick's, everywhere.
Dick's, everywhere. Dick's, everywhere.